With guided drills and real-time feedback, the Mantis Laser Academy allows you to have a training facility at home and at your convenience. Get quality reps with your own equipment and experience a higher level of dry fire training with positive results that you can see and feel. Laser Academy's variety of drill options also keeps things fresh for shooters, making practice feel more like a game and less like a chore. I use it all the time and recommend it highly.
Hey guys, Brian Hill, Complete Combatant. This is Active Self-Protection Extra, and this is Dry Fire Mondays brought to you by Mantis X. So today I brought you some high-tech equipment so we can work on becoming better shooters, but we're not going to shoot today. We're not going to dry practice. This is what I do before every session of dry practicing. As a lifetime coach of the combative arts, our number one enemy for us is injury. And people do get injured quite a bit in dry practice. A good friend of ours tore his bicep. Tendinitis happens to people, shoulder injuries, especially people drawing from a 3:30 or 4 o'clock position. And it all can be avoided. And you can get better quicker, because if you get one of these injuries, you've got a minimum of 2 to 3 months that you're going to be out of practice. And that's a lot of time to miss if you'll just take 2 or 3 minutes to warm up appropriately. So what I'm telling you today is warm up. Do not stretch before you work out. That's backwards. The reason that we don't stretch before we work out, there's a sensor in our muscle that limits the length of the motion of the muscle. And if you do a static style stretching, you'll turn it off. Whenever you stretch, it should either be done after the activity or completely separate from the activity. We always want to warm up. When we're going to do something physical, we want to warm up. The older we get, the less elastic we get. We lose our elasticity. And doing the repetitive motion of a draw can really get to you after a while. Especially if your posture or your alignment is not as good as it should be. So what I have here is a piece of plumbing apparatus. This is a PVC pipe, and I use this to warm up with. What I'm going to do is work on my shoulders. Many people work on their grip strength, and I don't think that's the main problem with most people. As I've talked about before, once you can grip the pistol sufficiently and one hand doesn't overcome the other, then you're in great shape. But in order to stabilize the pistol, we're going to have very strong shoulders, and they're going to have to be connected to our torso. So we're going to use this piece of pipe to practice opening up the shoulders. Many of you spend a lot of time sitting in front of a desk, looking at a computer all day, and you get in a very hunched posture. So what we're going to do is make a connection to this muscle group, and this connection will serve you well because it'll be connected to holding the pistol, which will make it more stable and therefore make it easier for you to shoot better. You should see a big improvement on your scores as time goes on, plus the amount of practice you're capable of, and we're going to avoid injury, which is really important. So first exercise is really important, easy to do. We're just going to grab the bar as far apart as we can. We're going to get in a good posture here. We're going to make a V, and then we simply press it back. I usually do this about 10 to 15 times. What I'm doing is engaging the muscles on the scapula. Some of you would call it the rotator cuff, but there's no such thing. There's 4 muscles back there that we work on. So I'm just working those, and that'll help bring my posture into upright position. After that, I'm going to make a circle around me. What I do is simply take the pipe and work it around my body and circle my waist. The only thing moving is my shoulders and my arms, and making a nice circle. And this really opens it up, gives you some stretch, holding on to it as I move it around each time, opening up those shoulders, opening up and connecting to the torso. So an easy motion, just making a circle here. The next one will be a full rotation. I'll bring it all the way through, all the way back, all the way through. Some of you simply aren't going to be able to do that, especially if you're really rolled forward. So just bring it to the point that you can, and then bring it out. The wider you grip it, the easier it is. The more narrow the grip is, the harder it is to get through there. But we're really opening up the chest as we work through here. Remember, keep your knees bent, grab the floor with your feet, core is engaged. Next activity would just be a simple twisting action like this. All right, what we're doing is opening up the lower back, decompressing it, keeping the shoulders upright and back, keeping the posture good. Okay, and then for the final exercise, really simple. This is the one that'll keep the tendonitis away. I want you to do wrist curls each way. All right, up and down. We're working those muscles in the elbows to make them stronger and helping us get ready to do what we're about to do. Make sure that muscle's warm, it has lots of circulation, and it's ready to do the activity. Also, from a neurological standpoint, you're making a connection to all these muscle groups, which allows you to do a better job at what you're working on. We've got to get connected to it. I'm going to go through this once more just so you guys can see it, because it's hard to remember that. The first exercise is this, just making a V, straight back, engaging all the muscles of the back, squeezing the scapula together. Next activity was circle the head. Do it both ways, 10 to 15 reps. Remember, it's a warm-up. What we're trying to do is get warm. You'll feel once you get warm, all right? I did leave one out. We can do straight up and down. This is a really good pressing action. So if you'd like to engage that also, that's a pretty good one, okay? And then we do the full circle all the way around, opening up the chest, trying to keep the body still. Be careful, nice and easy. Remember to exhale as you do it, all right? Behind the neck, twist, keep your posture strong, keep your chest open, turn and decompress the spine. And then for the final one, just curl up and down with the wrist. And when you get really good with this, you can add some weight to that one. It's a really important activity. Working these two muscle groups here will make us a lot better shooter. And that way, when we're working with the gun and we're holding it, put my stick down for a second. When we're holding it here, this shoulder girdle, all right, or corset of muscles that surround the armpit is really important because it's going to stabilize everything we're doing. What people tend to do is they get up and away from that. We want to get into the strength of the body, strength of the back, and then we have a very good system to take the recoil into us and transfer it into the ground, but also to stabilize and be pretty spot on with our dot or our iron sight. You guys will see a big difference in the way that you stabilize. There will always be wobble because we work on frequency, not amplitude. So we're sending a signal to the muscle constantly. That's why they shake a little bit. But as we're working here, it should mitigate how much wobble we see. And you should feel very connected, very upright, very strong in your position. The stronger you feel during your shooting, the better your scores will be, the better shooting you will be, you'll be able to do. So I hope that helps you guys. Nobody's favorite subject. Nobody wants to talk about warm-ups, but think about what I'm offering you. I'm offering you an improved ability to connect to these muscle groups that are really important to shooting. I'm making sure that you avoid injury and that you're able to be strong enough to do this activity for a long period of time. And then we're changing your posture. And we know that posture is very important in the way that we grip the pistol and the way that we move. So your first 2 or 3 minutes of just warming up before you get started, you'll be a lot better off than you'd be otherwise. The other big thing with this is we're also practicing breathing, okay? Don't breathe shallowly. Don't live a life with tiny little breaths. Take deep breaths. It helps you to be ready with fuel and oxygen and your body's ready to go. That's what part of the warm-up is. We're simply raising the furnace inside of us to get ready to do the work. And if you do have some sort of system to warm up instead of just grabbing things when they're cold, you're going to avoid a lot of injuries. And think if you get injured once a year and it costs you a month of practice or 2 months of practice, over a 5-year period, you've missed almost a year of practice. The going joke when I first started training martial arts is it took a long time to make black belts because they were injured half the time that they were training. That's wrong. We don't do that anymore. We're much smarter about how we train ourselves. So I'd like you to do that with your warm-up. See if it doesn't make a big difference in the morning. I know it's probably not your favorite thing, but hey, I'm a coach. I got to tell you what's good for you, not what you want to hear. And that's what my job is here, to make sure that I can make you a better shooter and give you some information that you can experiment with and see if it helps you. All right, Brian Hill with The Complete Combatant. Please leave a like, leave a comment, hit the subscribe button, and follow us always. I hope you'll enjoy this video. It was a pleasure bringing it to you today. As you can see, it's beautiful here. We just put up our new covered area at a range, so life is grand. The birds are tweeting. We're having a great time. So thanks for watching, and I appreciate your comments.